Hi, I'm Susie. I'm a rising junior that transferred to Tufts last year. I transferred in from Bucknell University and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
My name is Eugenia and I'm a rising senior. I transferred from Boston University and I am from West Orange, New Jersey originally.
Living off campus second semester, I know sophomores, not transfers in specific, that were able to talk to Res Life and figure out a plan that it was easier for them to move off campus. In the spring, lots of people are abroad and offering subleases, so there's definitely a supply of off-campus housing.
Something about living on campus is kind of getting acclimated to Tufts as a campus. You know, you start to recognize buildings on your walks to school, and you're able to socialize in the dorms with other students of like that you wouldn't necessarily find off campus, because I think when you go off campus you're more susceptible to hanging out with only a few groups of people that you know more familiar.
When I transferred, I lived in what was decided to be the transfer house, which wasn't necessarily all transfers. There may be a handful of juniors and seniors, but definitely during orientation it was really nice because you were always like living with the people that you were going to be spending the week with, and during the year it was super convenient for getting meals and checking in on your transfer class. But I think that what's also unique about transfers is that they tend to like acclimate to the school much quicker than first years do. So what I noticed was a lot of transfers kind of quickly found like what groups and clubs they were going to be involved in and went straight to that. So living off campus could be advantageous for that if you just like know what you're doing already.
I didn't do a pre-O when I transferred in, but I know that they are welcome to do that, and I think sometimes it's a really great opportunity to meet new people, like meet students, but they will be first years that you'll be meeting. There's not going to be any sophomores or through seniors. Sometimes the process takes a little bit longer as like certain departments receive your transfer credit request, and it takes a while to process the syllabus and figure out which course department would accept the credit.
Most likely you've done some form of English class or first year writing class at your former university. So I would definitely, when you're transferring credits, communicate and email with the English department to check that that's counting for the 2 English requirements that Tufts has. Also try and make sure you have a syllabus on hand. That's really important for getting things to count for distribution requirements.
I would say that it's very important to go in depth about each course credit. You know, talk about, there's a space that you can write about, you know, your academic process in that course, and I would there talk about what you've learned and like which department it counted for at your former university, and you know which department you believe it should count for at Tufts as well.
For me, like coming to Tufts, I noticed my classes were legitimately harder than they had been at my previous institution. So Tufts is this writing fellows program where basically you're paired up with graduate students and professionals who are trained in helping with writing, and for basically like any big essay assignment I had, I would go there to get it revised, looked over, and that was super helpful for academic success in all of my classes.
Your academic dean, I met with mine a lot. They can really help you with feeling acclimated. You know, sometimes there are certain deadlines that Tufts requires students to abide by, whether it's registering for classes, dropping classes, adding classes, certain deadlines that like you really can't work around. But if you're communicating with your dean, you're going to be more attentive to the deadlines. You're going to feel like you're going to have a lot more support. And then the other thing that I was going to talk about was the activities fair. Even though it's not necessarily like a resource that you can go to every day, once a year, like at the beginning of school, we have an activities fair, and leaders of each club and organization registered with Tufts is able to have a little booth. You can go up to the booth, you can talk to them about why they're enjoying the club, like what it entails, things like that. You're able to sign up for an email list and kind of get a taste of, you know, different people's passions on campus and see if some of them resonate with your own. And I think that's really cool. When I came to Tufts, I recognized that my passions from my previous university and high school, like, they were going to follow me, but I also recognized that I had to make room and accept that there may be new things arising. So I think that helped me keep an open mind about, you know, entering in like the Africana Center or the Women's Center. But it is difficult to feel in place and out of place at the same time.
So my advice would be just be a total like yes man when it comes to people like asking if you want to come with them to like a GIM or a club meeting, because one of the clubs that I became most involved in was just on a whim, another transfer wanting to go with me. So I think definitely be open to new things. I personally loved Carmichael Dining Hall, so that's where a lot of my friends who were, that's where there's like a debate around this, but Carmichael, a lot of sophomores lived there, and I transferred in as a sophomore. So while I lived in the transfer house, it was awesome going there to meet up with all my friends who had been previous students, getting meals there. It is really beautiful. Like, there's windows to get lots of natural light. The food is really good, so I loved it.
Like, campus is kind of separated into two kind of parts. You have uphill and you have downhill. So uphill's dining hall would be like Carmichael, like Susie said. Downhill, you're hanging with the Dewick peeps, and I think like there's two different personalities and everyone kind of clings on to one or the other, and it's become like quite the debate on campus. But I definitely love Dewick. They have gluten-free pantries as well as nut-free pantries. They have daily selections of your veggies at the salad bar and different meats and things like that, and they also have a cereal. Oh, but everywhere has a cereal.
Everywhere has cereal.
But just really good food. A lot of people like to go get a bite to eat, do some work, or you know, catch up with a friend in Dewick. Like, and I think it's really convenient to downhill campus.
One of my favorite places in Davis is Blue Shirt Cafe. This place, it's underrated because it's just a gem of Davis. Like, it's rarely ever crowded, so I go there, do work a lot. They have free Wi-Fi, which is awesome. They have like wraps, smoothies, all under, I would say, like $8, so I love it.
My selection would be Tenoch. You guys can look it up. It's really good Mexican food, and it has like really great environment. Like, it has cool lights, an awesome map of Mexico like on the wall, and you get to choose from a bunch of different forms of food, and they're all pretty like cheap, and yeah, it's a really good time.
So for coffee before class, I love going to the Res. It's right in the campus center, student run, and there's a little seating area, so you always just like run into people you know. Their drinks are really good. They all have like cute, fun names, like different flavors. My favorite drink, peppermint tea with 3/4 of a cup of steamed soy milk. It tastes like holidays. So in terms of like meeting new people, finding things to do on campus on weekends, people are always, I've noticed, like very excited to hear that you're a transfer and kind of like want to show you the school. So I would not be nervous at all to like introduce yourself, say you're a transfer. Like, people take it as a huge compliment that like you want to go to their school and are like very excited to show you Tufts.
and kind of help you make it your school too.
Yeah.
Some memories I have of being an early transfer, like during the first semester, was how my friend and I lived in the same dorm, and that was really lucky because we were both transfers at the time. So we kind of would hang out with the group of 10 or 15 transfers that we kind of met and talked to during orientation. And what I started noticing was, each weekend that we would have these get-togethers, more and more students that weren't transfers, but like that other transfers had befriended, were coming to these parties and like hanging out with us and listening to our music, and we were playing games and stuff. And so by the end of the night, you have met 10 more new people that it didn't become like a transfer party. It just became like a group of friends hanging out, and I thought that was really cool. Luckily, we are close to Boston, so there's a lot of things that you can explore on the weekends. So Tufts is located on the Red Line, so if you're looking for off-campus fun, you have a bunch of different stops to explore, whether you're going to go out to eat or grab a show or go to some sort of escape the room downtown. If you're 21, you can hit up some of the pubs in Davis Square, which is our home little square, or Harvard Square, but besides those two, there's still like things in between, like Central Square, Porter Square, and Medford Square even. There's a lot of different places.